been learning about value investing, finance, just regular investment for a while now, but you don't know where to go next. You're getting confused about the vast amount of information on the internet. You don't want to waste your time on crap information. You want good information and reliable information. In this series of videos on value investing and finance education, you will find those answers to those questions and much more. My name is Jason Rivera. Welcome to Value Investing and Finance Education. Hey, Jason here. Today's video, we're going to talk about the first time I've ever invested real money in stocks and how within 6 months that led to a 50% loss in my portfolio. Before I get to that though, I need to let you know you can get this video as a podcast anywhere in the world for free on all major podcasting platforms, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and more. You can get your value investing and investing education via the I Love Value Investing podcast, which you're listening to right now, anywhere in the world for free on all major podcasting platforms. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you a bit of a story about my personal journey through value investing. Because I didn't have these videos or a blog when I first started, so I couldn't tell you kind of what I was going through at that time. So the reason I'm telling this story is because people see now that all the stuff I've done, the books, the videos, the courses, the people I teach, the stuff I talk about on the blog, and how I've been in this 13 plus years, that's the stuff you see now because I didn't have the videos and the podcast and stuff then, so I couldn't document what I was going through then, which frankly is probably a good thing because I probably would have quit due to embarrassment. So that's probably a good thing. But the reason I'm telling you this story today is because the biggest thing I've been seeing that many people are having problems with when it comes to investing in general, value investing specifically, or even wanting to learn investing, stock market stuff, finance stuff, valuations, whatever the case may be, anything related to the market, is that people's mindsets are one of the biggest problems they have in wanting to learn this. They don't think they can learn this. They think it requires special skills. They think some people even think it requires a certain IQ level. The reason I'm doing this video is to tell you that, to show you that you don't need any of that. So that is the context to this story. So let me take you back to when I first started learning value investing. The reason I first started learning about investing in general was because I had severe dizziness that I'm still dealing with to this day. I've had it since I was 17, now 33, so that is 16 and a half years. If the math in my head is right, that's scary to think about, first of all. Oh, that's mind-boggling to think about. Anyways, so when I first started, I've had this since I was 17. When it first started, it kind of came and went and came and went and came and went, and then one day it just kind of stayed there. And it's been there pretty much every day since for the rest of my life, from about that was probably about the age of 19, 20 until, again, 33. So 13-ish years now. So when I first started, I had no skills. Or actually, let me back up. So the reason I got started in finance and investing, anything, and I didn't even know anything about value investing at this point, was because my wife came home and said one day that she was pregnant. And I have another story I can tell you about this, but I don't want to get into that today. But I was like, that was awesome. I always wanted to be a dad. So that first thought was that was awesome. Second thought was, oh, what am I going to do to provide for my family? Even if it's not now, at some point in the future. Because at that point, my dizziness was so bad, I literally couldn't do anything for more than 30 minutes a day, or I would be extremely nauseous, couldn't concentrate on anything. I couldn't do really anything for more than 30 minutes a day, or I felt terrible. And there were some cases where I would even have to grab onto walls so I wouldn't fall because I was so dizzy. So I literally, again, I couldn't do anything. But I knew, because I was going to be a dad, and I'm recording this on Father's Day, that I needed to figure something out. So again, maybe even not now, maybe even sometime in the future, so I can make money for my family, provide for my family. I thought of three things. I thought of becoming a politician, but I'm a terrible liar, and nobody likes politicians, so that was out. I thought of becoming a writer. I was a terrible writer at that time. I almost failed my senior year of high school after being an A and B student throughout my entire school, K through 12 education. I almost failed my senior year of high school because I got a D plus on my um, on a writing assignment. That's kind of a final grade type of thing in my senior year, and the paper was awful. One of my teachers said, and I was very close to her, so I didn't take this badly because I knew it was true. She said, "I hope you never want to become a writer because this paper is awful." It was. I almost failed the class because of it. So that was out. And then in my senior year of high school, they have this class called consumerism, and you learn about things like how to write checks, how to take out a credit card, what credit cards are, what loans are, how to get a loan, stuff like that. And they also have another module, I guess, on the stock market. And I remember learning about compounded interest, and I was like, this is amazing. Fast forward a few years, I didn't really do much with it then. Fast forward a few years, and I'm thinking about stuff that I've ever been interested in that I could do, that I could learn from home by myself, because I couldn't go to college. There's no way I could have gone to college because my Disney was so bad. So I needed something I could learn from home. So these things were the only things I came up with: investing, writing, and becoming a politician. And pretty much by default, I chose investing because that was the only thing that I could think of that I was even somewhat interested in, and the other two were just completely gone. So pretty much by default, I chose the path of investing. So I started learning about investing. I'll tell you why I put those in quotes later. Started learning about investing. Started learning about the stock market, and I'm getting excited. For 3 or 4 years, I do this again. That seems like a really slow time, and it was. But it had to be because I couldn't do anything for 30 minutes at a time. Then slowly my business got better, and over the years it's gotten better. It's mostly under control now. But back then, literally 30 minutes, an hour a day was all I had. So it took 3 to 4 years to kind of for me to feel confident enough and build up enough courage, frankly, to invest real money in stocks. So now we're caught up to the point in the story where things get really interesting. So I finally built up the courage after months because again, I couldn't work then. My wife at that point was just barely starting to be a nurse, so she wasn't making great money. I wasn't making any money because of my business. We had a new baby on the way. So I had to literally build up courage to invest money in stocks. Not, my wife was okay with it. She's very supportive and she still is to this day. But for me personally, we didn't have the money then for me to kind of lose it. So it took me months to build up the courage to invest any real money in the stock market. After 3 or 4 years, it then took another a few months for me to build up the courage just to invest the money because again, I couldn't lose it. So I invest money. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Get excited, things start going up. Then they crash huge. Within 6 months, my investment portfolio is down 50%. And I'm so depressed that not only do I think about giving up on investing, that combined with my business issues, that I think about committing suicide. That's how depressed and how horrible of a place I was. I spent 3 or 4 years learning this skill. Um, I was still a failure at it. My business was still awful. I still couldn't do anything. Um, I thought it was a failure, all this kind of stuff. So I thought I was useless. I thought I was wasting my family's money. I thought I was taking away from my young daughter at the time, all that kind of stuff. The only reason I kept going was because I knew I needed to figure something out. So what I did is I literally sat down on my kitchen table with a pad and a pen and paper like this, and I still take notes by hand because it helps you remember stuff. That's just again another story for a different day. But I figured out what I needed to do, and up to this point, I took kind of an inventory of why I invested in these stocks, what I was doing, what I was learning, all that kind of stuff. The stocks I invested in, I didn't even know most of the time what business they operated in, what they sold, what products they had, anything. I invested just off of their ratios of something, and I think at this point it was current ratio, quick ratio, things I don't even use anymore. Um, Other financial metrics, I don't remember what they were, but it was most of this stuff I don't even use anymore today. I learned from a couple books and online resources. Again, back then there were very few investing blogs. There were pretty much no investing courses. Um, so I literally had to go piece by piece and try to figure this out on my own. And I was doing a terrible job of it because I didn't know how to learn well at that point. So most of the information I used to evaluate a stock then was just on the ratios. I didn't read their financial statements. Again, in most cases, I didn't even know what their businesses did. And Mr. Market kicked me in the teeth by making me lose 50% of my investment portfolio that took me months to build up the courage to even invest in the first place. Within 6 months, Mr. Market kicked me in the teeth and I was down 50%. So I either at this point was trying to figure out what I should do, if I should even continue this. Should I look for something else? Am I terrible at this? Am I not cut out for this? Am I not made for this? All that kind of stuff. So I do a complete reassessment of everything I'm doing and figure out that I don't, even though I spent 3 to 4 years learning, this is what I'm talking about learning, most of the information I learned at that point was completely useless. It wasn't a kind of a deep dive on the company. It was very superficial level. And again, I didn't even know what most of the companies did, which is just unthinkable to me today. So I reassessed, figured out if I wanted to do this, that I needed to dedicate myself to actually learning how to invest well. Not just kind of play around, not just kind of try to find the easy way out, not just kind of do the superficial thing like I was doing, but actually go deeply into companies and figure out if I should invest in them or not. Again, I pretty much chose this by default because I didn't want to start over on something else. I still had a horrible business, so I couldn't leave the house. Those two options I didn't even consider really. So I pretty much considered either continuing my learning and investing or giving up. And I knew if I gave up that I would probably, fill isn't the right word, probably go through with the dark thoughts I was having at the time of thinking about suicide. So, and I didn't want to do that with a young child on the way, or young child in the home. So pretty much out of pure stubbornness, I just kept going and learning and improving. And from that moment on, I completely dedicated myself to learning everything I could about investing. So you probably notice I haven't brought up value investing at all at this point. I didn't even know what value investing was at this point after 3 or 4 years of learning about the investment market, finance market, stock market. Dedicated myself, learning as much as I could, as best as I could, learning everything I could, taking one small step at a time. Again, there were no courses. There were very few investment blogs. I didn't know I didn't have any mentors personally. I was literally trying to search online and find anything I could to help at this point. And luckily, soon after this, I found Aswath Damodarans, I think is how you pronounce his name, professor at NYU Stern. He his specialty is valuation. So I think this is probably where I learned about value investing in the first place. I don't 100% remember this, but I'm pretty sure this is where the concept of value investing kind of came into play, because you're talking about evaluating a company deeply based on its financial statements, valuing the business, all that kind of stuff. So that is only one part of the story of me thinking many times over the years that I should have quit. It's not just that one time. It's many times, many frustrations, many two-step forward, three steps back, not even two-step forward, one step back, two-step forward, three steps back, um, going higher, getting better, and then getting kicked in the teeth again by the market, or getting frustrated because I can't find out the valuation techniques. Um, Everything you learn from says you need to learn how to value business, but very few and pretty much none show you actually how to value business. So that is my journey kind of at the beginning of investing. I had no skills, no knowledge of finance. After 3 or 4 years, I finally invest money. 3 or 4 years of learning. I finally invest money, and within 6 months, 50% of it's gone. When I tell people, and I occasionally mention this on the blog posts or in other videos, that I wasted literally 3 or 4 years of time when I first started investing, I literally wasted 3 or 4 years when I first started investing, because I wasn't even learning important stuff that again, most of it I don't even use today. This is why I had to relearn kind of the basics: operating profit, return on invested capital, cash flow, all that kind of stuff, because the books and stuff I kind of started out reading, again, they focus on the ratios: quick ratio, current ratio. Again, I don't use those at all anymore. PE, don't use that at all anymore. Price to book, I use more as a comparison than anything, but I don't even really use that anymore. The things I learned for 3 or 4 years were literally wasted. But that waste in the long term was a huge lesson, because it taught me, or showed me, when I got kicked in the teeth and lost 50% of my portfolio in 6 months, that I needed to, if I really wanted to become great at this, that I needed to do the work. I needed to put in the work. I needed to put in the time. I needed to put it in the learning on real stuff. Not quick rich stuff I was doing. Not the, oh, this is easy, let's just take a quick look at some financial statements, or not even financial statements, some financial ratios, and invest on companies based on that. Not even knowing, again, mind-boggling to me now, not even knowing what most of the companies did. Had no idea what most of the company's operations were, what their products were, what their services were. The only reason I knew where they were based is because most of the companies I invested in, and this is probably 2008, 2009, 2010 timeframe. Um, Again, I don't remember the exact dates, but this is when the Chinese small caps were huge, and then many of them found out were frauds, and I was invested in many of them, and that's why my portfolio took such a huge hit in such a short time. You don't require any skills right now. You don't require a high IQ. You don't require any kind of specialized knowledge to become a great value investor or investor. All you need is persistence and discipline, putting in the time, putting in the effort. A mentor like me will help a lot. Again, I didn't have, this is why I put out so much free content. 99% of our content is free, because I didn't have this right here when I first started. I literally had to find everything myself. That's another reason I wasted 3 or 4 years of time, because I didn't know it was useless information at the time. Find a mentor, even if it's not this site, find another great site to go to learn. If you want to learn, you can do this. You can become a great investor. you can become a great value investor. I am nothing special. Nothing. When it comes to finance. I've always had kind of a mind for numbers, I think, but I don't really, the highest grade level math I use, and I told my niece this one time, she was like, I was talking about investing, and she, she's like, but I don't like math. Don't you use like high level math? I was like, I use sixth grade math for everything I calculate. That's it. So I don't even have necessarily a mind for numbers. That probably wasn't the right thing to say. I've always enjoyed business, the thought of business, but I didn't have those skills either. I learned those along the way. Still learning them um, to this day. Still learning about value investing. Still learning about investing. Still learning about finance. If you learn and continually take 1 and 2 steps forward, even if you occasionally take 1, 2, 3 steps backwards on occasion, you will still go like this. My journey was like this. So very, very slowly. That's why it's taken me 13 plus years to get to here talking today. But with a mentor or my help or somebody else's help or these value investing blog, value investing courses, books that are all over the place now, you can probably go like this instead of this, which is essentially what I did. 3 or 4 years, nothing, 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 nothing. Get hammered, go slowly back up again. That was my journey to value investing to where I'm at today. This is a skill set that is super important to me, not only because it literally helped save my life, but also because you can use these skill sets in value investing and these mental models of thinking in various businesses. Various businesses. Warren Buffett has a saying that I think it's something along the lines of I'm a better investor because I'm a businessman, and I'm a better businessman because I'm an investor. I completely 100% agree with that. Because if you learn one, you probably should learn how to do both. It would help if you learn both. Because you will be able to spot things. So if you, for example, are a business person, but you don't know financial metrics like ROIC or operating profit, if you don't know what those are, how do you know if you're profitable? And the inverse of this is true. So the reason, again, that I'm telling you this story, and I've told parts of this story before, but I've never told this kind of full story like this. I'm going to do more of these because, again, people see the now because I wasn't making videos then. They didn't have this kind of technology. Again, frankly, if they did, I probably wouldn't have done it because I was scared to death of failing, being a failure. I thought it was a failure at that point in time, so I wouldn't have made a video anyways. So I'm going to tell more stories like this because, again, the thing I'm finding that people have the most problem with is anybody can learn the numbers, anybody can learn the metrics, anybody can learn the valuation. The thing that I see that most people have issues with is the mindset, thinking they can do this or that they can't do this. But you can. You can do this. And I hope this story illustrates that to you. I literally, again, went from nothing, not being able to do anything for 30 minutes a day, to where I am helping you today and helping people around the world, and books and courses and speaking events and consulting with businesses, pretty much because out of stubbornness, I decided not to give up. That's pretty much what it boils down to. You can do this. Again, that's what Value Investing Journey is all about. All of our content, all podcasts, the blog, YouTube channel, social media, is to help you become a world-class value investor within 1 year. And I truly believe we can help you do that. Again, even if you don't want our help though, and you want to get in the finance arena, find somebody who can help you. There are courses, resources, books for pretty much everything now. Again, back when I started, there wasn't. But find a mentor that can help you accelerate your time. So instead of 13 plus years, like it took me, again, I now on our websites and stuff, we want to help you within 1 year, and we truly can do that because we've helped other people do it. But find a mentor, help you accelerate your time, help you avoid massive mistakes, help you avoid massive frustration, help you avoid, frankly, depression, probably, if they're good at what they do, and help you along faster than, again, the 13, almost 14 years now that it's taken me. And the first 3, 4, 5 years were pretty much wasted, just wasted time for me because I didn't know any better. I didn't have anybody to help me. I didn't know that I was researching useless information for the most part. I didn't know. There's this, I don't know what it's called, but there's this line of thinking that says, and this, I think it's on how to improve. There's things you know that you know. There's things you know that you don't know. There's things you don't know that you know. And there's things you don't know that you don't know. At that time, I didn't know that I didn't know that what I was learning was useless. Even if you can just get out of that little arena and get to the things you don't know that you know, that will put you on the faster, much faster track. So for example, if you know that you need to learn how to value a business better, multiple different ways fast, you know that you probably should concentrate on learning that. But if you don't even know what you should be learning, you'll end up wasting literally years of time like I did. So again, I hope this helped. If you like this video, I'd love to hear your stories if you want to share them about your own investing mistakes. And this is just one that I'm going to share more of these kind of stories in going forward. And I'd love to hear your stories if you want to share them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, all that kind of stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, love, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we're releasing a video, and we're releasing new videos all the time. If you're watching on, or listening, sorry, on the podcast, make sure to like, love, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And we'd really appreciate if you leave a review as well. That's how we can help more people. The higher reviews we get, the more views we get, the more listens we get, we can help more people. But most of all, I'd love to hear your stories. Again, it's taken me years to share this one, so if you don't want to share it personally, you can send me an email, jasonrivera@valueinvestingjourney.com as well. I'd love to hear that. And frankly, just talk with you about that because, again, I haven't shared this story with really anybody in kind of in its entirety, pretty much really ever. Maybe my wife. But other than that, I haven't really shared it before. So if you don't want to share it publicly, I understand. But I'd love to hear and I'd love to help you. Make sure to check out the website. Make sure to check out our Value Investing Masterclass. Make sure to check out our Value Investing Coaching Program. If you want to learn faster, again, 99% of our content is free, but we do have some paid programs and courses and books and stuff like that if you want to learn more. So make sure to check those out as well. And until next time, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.